Hey, nice hobby you got there. Would be a shame if someone turned it into a revenue stream. Hi everyone, welcome back to Eternally Online, the place where we ran into some last minute technical difficulties, so now I am filming this on my bed. No, real talk though, this is the place that you found because you probably had nothing better to do. And if that's the case, you need to go get a damn hobby, which is the new way of saying,
you go get a damn job.
Yeah.
because in our current digital and economic landscape, the lines between job and hobby have become almost indistinguishable. It's like everyone is looking for a side hustle nowadays. Because instead of spending time with your family or friends or doing things that are relaxing to you, you should be using that time to work more. Being your own boss is the hot new thing, which is probably the first time somebody has uttered that in a non-fetish context. One of the first tips you hear nowadays from somebody scamming you, I mean encouraging you to get into a side hustle, is to make money off of something that you're passionate about. No stocks or drop shipping, which, I mean, if you are passionate about those things, that's fine, but you are probably not my target audience. But something that you enjoy and could do every day, just make money off of that. I mean, what else could you do every single day besides your hobby? Love knitting? Why not sell your works online? Love singing? Why don't you take on gigs that famously pay you almost nothing? Okay, maybe this is not a good thing to make a side hustle from. The internet and TikTok have ushered in a new wave of wannabe entrepreneurs, and by extension, people who feel pressured to get into entrepreneurship, who want to make money off of their passion, sometimes to the lengths that it stops being fun. You know, like a hobby should be. But not just that, sometimes they don't ruin the hobby for themselves, they also ruin the hobby for others. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to monetize your hobby. I mean, look at me, I turned my passion for video editing and content creation into a YouTube channel that I now make money from. But I will say that short-form content in particular commodifies people's interests in a way that only short-form content could. Let's take coloring talk for example. It feels like if you want your content to succeed, you need to buy full sets of markers that cost $300 before you've even put a pencil to your page. You need to come close to being the next Picasso with your drawings, and it all needs to be from these specific 4 coloring books for some reason and nothing else. What? It's the only way you'll succeed making content out of your hobby. I mean, who's gonna want to see an ugly drawing that may not be perfect, but that you made with all your heart? That won't get you views. Or your measly collection of 5 pencils that you use all the time because you really don't need any more. Monetizing your hobby means introducing a business aspect into it, which on paper is nothing wrong with, but it makes you start having to cram yourself into this box of what is the most popular according to TikTok and other social media, which is big bombastic hauls of pencils that will go unused, and this very specific type of shading, and this specific type of coloring book. And if you deviate from it, well, have fun being in 30 views jail for the rest of your online career. I think this is something that people who don't create content don't really think about, and that's also why a lot of people feel like the content they see on TikTok gets so incredibly samey, because it turns into this cycle of everyone just copying each other and nobody wants to take the risk of flopping by doing something original. This kind of commodification through social media turns a hobby that is originally about the doing, so the coloring of it, completely about the aesthetics of the end products. If your drawings don't look like the ones on TikTok, then obviously you feel insecure about it and you feel pressured to become better. And then you notice that this thing you started doing for fun stops being fun. Obviously there's nothing wrong with wanting to increase your skill level at something, like it's good to have goals, but you also don't have to if you don't want to. If you make imperfect drawings without all these complicated shadows and you color outside the lines because that's the way you like coloring, all the more power to you. You shouldn't change the way you enjoy something because it's not the norm or you feel like internet strangers would disapprove of the way you're doing things. I say that because I actually started my own coloring journey a few months ago. Well, journey, I bought a pack of color pencils and drew half a page that I printed on a printer that was running out of ink. I come back to this drawing like once every few months when I just like want to be away from a screen. And guess what? That is completely fine because the pencils were like $5, so I don't feel like I have to make a return on investment by posting everything I draw on social media. Especially not with the way that my drawings look. I don't know if the creators dropping money on those $300 sets and encouraging their viewers to do the same before they've even decided if they like the hobby of coloring or not have that same privilege as me. Oh. I'm trying to figure out a good way to do this, okay? Okay, I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't be talking about book talk anymore on this channel, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Because it is the perfect example of how the monetization of a hobby just serves to drive hyperconsumerism. People will buy these huge hauls of books that they will never read because most viewers don't seem to come for the content that is actually inside the books, but more for the awe and sheer grandiose of someone's giant collection, as their books sit behind them on a giant shelf is more enticing for a viewer than something borrowed from the library. There are also a lot of challenges on TikTok, like having to read 100 books within a year. Look, I know that everyone reads at a different pace, but I personally could not imagine getting through 3 books per week without scanning the pages instead of, reading them. The whole thing that your hobby is about. I just feel like it starts turning into a competition of who can read the most books the best. Another way to make money with content creation of your hobby is to have a TikTok shop link in your bio, which functions suspiciously similar to a pyramid scheme, where the creator takes a cut whenever somebody buys the crayons linked in their bio or whatever the niche therein is. The most egregious instance I can think of where consumerism was essentially weaponized against hobbies was the returning to analog hobbies trend from earlier this year. People were rightfully tired of subscriptions being everywhere and it seeming like AI was taking over the entire internet. So TikTok users made a pledge to return to analog hobbies and physical media like CDs, DVDs, and books. But of course, as the trend grew, it stopped being in the spirit of sustainability and protest against the current state of technology, and just became another way for companies to sell. Why would you want an ugly old CD player that somebody else has already owned before you? Here, buy this pink one from Temu that will break in 2 weeks. Here, buy all this shit that you don't need to put in your analog bag, which is just chronically online people discovering the concept of a handbag. Of course, this trend never really lasted in any meaningful way, and I'm sure that the influencers and brands cashing in on this trend were fully expecting that. Because once the analog hobbies fall out of fashion, they'll have moved on to selling you the new trendy thing, encouraging you to buy all these essentials that you absolutely need to show everybody that you are a part of this trend, and will throw away as quickly as you bought them, which in this day and age is probably like 1/10 of a millisecond. Sustainability? I don't know her. Yeah, it really doesn't seem like a good idea to turn your hobby into an income, because it seems like the pipeline you would fall into as an influencer is one where the objective becomes not for you to share your passion with the world and to foster a community where people share your interests. The objective becomes to sell so that other people can consume. However, the humble TikTok creator faces a great danger. There is a dark, looming force creeping up behind them. If you're not careful, you might just fall into their trap. With this I mean grifters. After all, the richest person after a gold rush is the one selling the shovels. If actually having a passion about something is too much for you, you can also just get rich off of scamming people. Let's go back to the coloring pages. Cashing in on the hype of coloring's resurgence on TikTok, there are people like this.
I'm going to show you how you can make a minimum of $20,000 a month making children's coloring books. If you go to Amazon, you'll see this coloring book and it's being sold for $9.99. But if you look how many has been sold, 10,918. And if you do the math, that's over 100 grand. What you're going to do is go to flowwith.io, then you're going to click images and storybook maker. And Flowwith will give you an already used prompt that you just fill in the blanks with. If you have it with all the information that you want, then you're going to go ahead and press start. The results will look something like this, and once you're happy with this, then you can put this into a PDF. Next, you're going to head over to kdp.amazon.com, and KDP will print and ship your coloring book all around the world and will pay you 60% royalty. And that's not all Flowwith can do. If you want me to DM you ready to use prompts to use in Flowwith, drop the word toll in the comments and I'll message you.
Who are using the opportunity to shit out, and apologies because I know this word is overused, absolute slop, while the people who are trying to use their genuine passion to make money are being left behind. And goddamn are they successful at this grift. To this lady, I hope you know that you and your ilk are some of the worst people roaming this planet. Another way that the internet and TikTok have ruined hobbies are the fact that now investment bros are snatching Pokemon cards away from little kids' hands so that they can resell it for double the price. Because apparently Logan Paul made cardboard produced for children into a legitimate investment now, or something like that. Or take one that's a little close to home for me, YouTube grifters. If you're like me and you want to turn your passion for writing and video editing into a potential side income, you can count on these guys who make videos like how to blow up on YouTube in just one day. And they will give you all the secrets, but only if you buy their $90 course linked in the description. Trust me bro, the reason why your videos aren't getting views is not because they're shitty and nobody wants to watch them, it's because you posted them at 9:31 a.m. through YouTube Studio. Just keep on using all these algorithm hacks that I give you, so you never have to worry about, is your content actually something worthwhile watching? It's the algorithm that's against you, okay? I think it goes without saying that these people are not successful at YouTube themselves, and selling these courses is the main source of their income, because they're banking on the fact that most people who buy these courses do not realize they are just receiving regurgitated information and strategies that you can find for free on places like Reddit. And that these people then get frustrated and quit after a month because people really do underestimate how patient you have to be to build up a following online. Try being an influencer for a day. Anyway, I find this so funny because has any big YouTuber, any genuinely successful YouTuber with millions of subscribers ever came out and said, oh yeah, the reason why I'm this successful is because I bought this one guy's scammy YouTube course and then the views just started rolling in. I just hate the fact that there are people like this preying on others who are so desperate to acquire another revenue stream because their main job might not be paying them enough. That is unfortunately the reality for far too many people in the world right now. Oh yeah, I forgot I should probably talk about what's causing all this ruckus about side hustles too. Apologies in advance for how Marxist it is about to get up here. The sad thing is, I sympathize with most of these people, the content creators, not the grifters. We currently live in a hyper-capitalist society where the billionaire shareholders at the top are obsessed with squeezing out as much value and labor out of one person as they possibly can. And everybody's just kind of okay with it for some reason. We can't just do a hobby for the sake of it anymore. Now we have to justify it because this society demands constant productivity from an individual. We have no choice but to use our supposed free time to work more because working a full-time job that is supposed to make you a living doesn't even do that anymore nowadays. No wonder people feel pressured to take on a side hustle because they literally won't be able to eat if they don't. And I think most of us have been successfully gaslit by it. Just think about the amount of guilt you feel when you spend your entire weekend doing quote-unquote nothing. You probably did a lot of stuff in your weekend, like relax and recover from your week. But if it's not seen as something productive, especially if it's not seen as something economically productive, most people don't find it worthy of acknowledgement at all. Besides that, if you start monetizing something that you're passionate about out of necessity, it will suck the soul out of your body. I think it's bleak, and I wish it was just a little bit more socially acceptable to do things just for the sake of it, and don't have any economic or profitable motive behind it. But I also understand that unfortunately not everyone has the privilege to do so. So I guess what I want to say is, be defiant and go do your hobby right now without being productive. Oh, and subscribe, and like, and comment, and I don't know, share this video with your grandma. She'll probably enjoy it. But that is all I have to say, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!